Hi Bloomers, welcome to another Saturn return episode. That's what I'm going to call it because I am actually an Aquarius and I'm ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So I'm really feeling the influence of the return of Saturn into my life, but I'm also seeing it amongst the collective. So I thought, let me bring what my father planet is bringing to all of us, because I know that this can be a challenging energy for the ones who are not ruled by Saturn and are not used to like sudden changes and dramatic adversity in your life. And that's what you might be experiencing at the moment, right? We're all going through a major season of epiphanies, self-realizations, really understanding a lot of our patterns and where we have been, jackasses in the past and everything is being shown to us, or how other people have been portraying those qualities in our lives, and now it is time to stop the cycle. So for me as an Aquarius, for all Aquarius out there as well, it becomes a little bit challenging to navigate these energies for one simple reason, because we are ruled by Saturn and Uranus. So Uranus is a planet of freedom. It's, let's go wild, let's go do this, let's go do that, I can do anything. And then Saturn is the opposite of that. There's a lot of contraction, there's a lot of planning, of making sure that you follow the book, follow all the rules, that you do everything within morals and standards and rules and regulations and all of that. So for us Aquarius now, it is a return of a lot of discipline in our lives. But I believe, because this is the age of Aquarius, right? Welcome. But we're all experiencing, to some degree, we are all experiencing the same thing that Aquarians are going through at the moment, because it's our age and not yours. I joke, but if you go and listen to your favorite tarot reader or channeler or whatever you follow online, if you go and listen to the sign of Aquarius, I bet that you will resonate with a lot of things that they're talking about, because it is a collective age of Aquarius and there's no way for all of us to not be impacted by it, right? So we are going through that contrast of the freedom of Uranus and the contraction nature of Saturn, where it's making us stop on our tracks and really analyze things for what they are. Right? So a lot of clarity is coming. You may feel like you're waking up from a dream. You're waking up to a lot of self-realizations where you go like, what have I been doing? Or how did I not see this before? Like the signs were there, or whatever it is, but it's bringing a lot of clarity. And what Saturn basically says is, bitch, are you still stupid? Because if you're gonna go for another round, you're going to go into another cycle of 5 or 10 years, or do you want to stop it now and start a new one, right? So it's going to bring a lot of tests, a lot of sneaky things into your life to see if you're paying attention, if you're still operating from your old self, or if you're already operating from your new self. So one of the things that can happen during this time period is that you are feeling stuck. You may even feel a dissociation of your mind and your emotions from your body, meaning you may feel like your energy is trapped inside of your body, where your body is not responding to the way your mind works or the way your emotions are being processed, right? So it's almost like your mind knows that you are capable of amazing things, and you have all of those ideas and projects and dreams in your head building up, and you feel the emotions, but your body somehow does not respond to it, right? It's in inertia, it's just stuck. It's just feeling stuck, right? Now, one of the things that Saturn is really, really bringing to you is a remembrance of who you are, because that's the only reason why you're feeling stuck is two things. One of them, you don't know who you are, and the second one, you are afraid of finding out who you are. So we keep stuck in the same situations when we don't know who we are, because we end up accepting relationships that are less than what we want, jobs that are not a match to our ambition, less money than what we deserve for the services we provide. So there's a lot of things that then get impacted because we don't know who we are. We're still exploring who we are. And so a lot of our relationships, a lot of situations in our lives are going to be presented for us to understand what they really, really are and who we really, really are, how we want to react. But also in the closing of cycles that the Saturn return brings is also for you to pay attention to your communication, especially because we're going to go into Mercury retrograde, or Mercury retrograde, as I call it, on the 31st of October. And, you know, we're entering the shadow period of that. And Saturn is really asking you to pay attention to your communication skills, but also how you tend to fly off the handle with some people, or react in a certain way over and over again. It's a cycle of pride, mostly, you know, when you feel hurt and you need to attack someone else to defend yourself. But even the fact that you feel the need to defend yourself or attack someone else already denotes a lack of inner peace within yourself. So the advice is really take a moment to breathe, to analyze if your response is needed, necessary, and even if it's going to escalate the issue or if it's going to bring the solution, right? So pay attention to that, because Saturn is bringing you so many people and so many things into your life now to test your ability of response, if you have changed your communication skills, and if you have self-discipline in your life as well, right? So a lot of you might be feeling pushed towards doing something new in regards to your spiritual career at the moment. It can be an old dream, it can be an old project, it can be just an old idea that has been building up and up and up, and now all of a sudden it becomes more present. And it's going to demand that you take discipline, you know, that you have discipline in your life, that you apply yourself and stay committed and loyal and dedicated to that which is what you want to achieve, and not just falling into the procrastination cycle or the self-sabotage cycle of convincing yourself that this is not for you, or that you do not deserve it, or you're not capable of doing it, right? That's one of the things. So I was talking about this on my Instagram page today, where I was saying that I had a stage in my life where I was so afraid of sharing my victories with others, because I was scared of making other people feel less about themselves, and so I would hide, you know, how you doing? I'm fine, nothing new, you know, and I would just keep it like that. And we tend to do this because we grow up programmed to focus on other people's emotional needs in disregard to ours. So we tend to be the one who brings peace into conflict, the one who solves problems in the house. Some of us become the mother of our mother, or the mother of our father, or the father of your father, right? So because we are raised in that dynamic, I know a lot of men actually grow up being the husband of the mother, because for some reason the father left the house and you became the man of the house, and all of a sudden you have the responsibility of making sure that your mom is okay, that, you know, that she's protected, she's been taken care of. And so we don't grow up learning to discover who we are, because we are fulfilling a role that someone else needs in their own lives. And so it becomes hard, you know, you stop speaking your truth, you try to keep the peace in every situation, you don't speak your mind, you don't share your ideas, you don't even explore your emotions, because it's just so focused on really fulfilling what it is that the other person needs. And then you grow up doing the same in your life as well. You do the same with your friends, because you somehow convince yourself that in order for you to have the things that you want to have, someone else cannot have it. So there is an element of self-sacrifice that is programmed in us, where we believe that in order for me to have money, someone else needs to have less, or in order for me to be happy, someone else is not going to be able to be happy, right? So that self-sacrifice that we grow up with, joined with the fact that we're constantly fulfilling someone else's emotional needs in disregard to ours, can bring you into a stage where you don't know who you are. You don't know who you are, right? And now at this point, you making decisions that are just for yourself, it's going to sound selfish. But I want to introduce another word. It's self-full. It's self-full and not selfish. Okay? And being selfish, it just means that you focus on the self. You focus on yourself. And in order to do that, you need to understand that me focusing on myself doesn't mean that I am not helping other people, right? Because sometimes the best help you can give someone is really to give them space for them to find their own answers. But when you do start to focus more on yourself, take more time for yourself, you will start to see who really wants to be in your life with you or not. I've noticed that in my own journey, I did a lot of free sessions, free calls, free advice, free emails. I did that for a very long time. And then as soon as I started taking more time for myself, because I understood that my cup was empty all the time. My cup was empty all the time. I didn't take time to recharge myself because I was charging everyone else, right? And as soon as I decided to take some time for myself, I saw how people who were used to have my free advice or my presence or my guidance, some of them understood that I needed some time for myself, and they stood there, and they're still there for me today. But some people decided to take the approach of, how selfish of you, I'm here and I need help and you're not helping me. And I had to explain, I cannot help you if I cannot help myself. And that's it. And I need to take a moment for myself, and I'm not going to feel guilty about it, right? So that's the approach that we need to take, is understanding that your cup always needs to be full to the rim. Your cup always needs to be full, period. Anything that overflows that cup is for others. But what's inside of the cup is yours. And it is your responsibility to make sure that the cup is full for yourself, that you're not depending on someone else to come and fill your cup. Now, what can happen with the Saturn return is that we start to understand how we've actually been drinking from the sippy cup instead of aiming for a bigger cup, right? So imagine you have been aiming for someone or something or a job or a situation in your life that was the size of a shot glass, for instance, right? And then in the meantime, you still have that dream of having that person or that job or that career or that money or that house or that car. That's your glass, your shot glass, right? And then in the meantime, there was a lot of things happening inside of yourself, and you grew a lot. You grew to a gallon. But because you don't see yourself as a gallon, you're still chasing the shot glass. And you're going to feel frustrated about it because those things do not fulfill you anymore. Regardless of what it is, it can be that you've been aiming for a love partnership, and you've been in situations that really impacted your self-esteem and your self-trust and your self-confidence, and all of a sudden you realize, like, wait a minute, I actually want a spiritual partnership. I actually want to achieve success with someone else, beyond the I want to get married, I want to have babies, I want to have the house, I want to have the car, I want to have this. I actually want someone that will walk with me so we can achieve things together on a higher level, right? So it can be even that transition of like superficial relationships to deeper connections. It can be the change of you looking at your job as superficial as well, and you actually want to do something more meaningful, right? But there is that transition with Saturn, because Saturn is really going to ask you, bitch, are you still stupid? Are you still stupid? Do you want to go for another round? Do you have another coin to go for another round and stay there for another 2 or 5 years? Or can we wrap this up now and move on to the things that we need to do, right? One of the ways you can look at the things that you have in your life right now to evaluate the places where you are putting extra energy that you shouldn't, or the places where you should actually be putting more of your energy but you're not, would be to simply have a look at, let's suppose, a relationship, because this is very common with the people who email me. Let's suppose that it's a relationship and you are not sure if that's a relationship that you still want to invest, put your energy in, or if it's something that is going to last in the future. One of the important things that you can do when looking at that relationship is asking yourself, how much does this relationship cost? I was watching this a while back. I can't remember who was talking about it. But he was explaining this concept of how much does it cost, right? Because we tend to do that every time we need to buy something with money. You go to the store, you go like, how much does it cost? Do I need to make sacrifices in my life to buy it, right? Because if you're going to buy a house or if you're going to buy a car, it's a bigger investment, right? And you need to think, can I afford it? How much does it cost to have this in my life? And then you evaluate if you can afford it or not, and how much sacrifice it's going to take. And if it's something that you really, really want, like a house, you will sacrifice yourself to get it, because it's worth it, right? The sacrifice is nothing compared to the gain of having that in your life. Now, in regards to your relationship, you can look at it like, how much does it cost me to be in this relationship? Because if it costs you not being yourself, or sacrificing your time, or sacrificing your values, or if it costs you your self-esteem, your self-confidence, your self-respect, then it's too expensive for you. You cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. It's too expensive for you. That's what Saturn is going to show you. You cannot afford this. It's too expensive. Right? The same thing as you wanting to, buy a Tesla on a really low salary. You cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. Right? So what you can do is focus on the things that really are a fair exchange of energy between the sacrifice. Because let's be honest, in relationships there's always going to be a certain degree of sacrifice, of hard work. Not sacrifice, but hard work. You need to work on your relationships. Make sure that you are giving of yourself and receiving as well. So there's always going to demand an exchange of energy, but that needs to be fair and balanced. And if you feel like there is a relationship in your life that it's too expensive, it's costing you too much of yourself to be in that relationship, then you cannot afford it. It's not worth it. It's not worth the investment. Now, not just relationships. It can even be that you say like, what's costing me this relationship? My peace of mind. That's already too expensive for you. If it's costing you your peace of mind, may that be a relationship or a job. If it's costing you your inner peace or your peace of mind, your mental health, it's costing you a lot of anxiety and stress, or even depression, sadness and loneliness, it's too expensive for you. You cannot afford it. You cannot afford it. It's too expensive, right? So Saturn is really going to show you all of these. Places of pride in your communication, discipline in following your spirituality, how much time of your day are you spending exercising your rituals, connecting with Source, meditating, connecting with yourself, right? And then changing your perspective on things, like maybe you were looking for love or money and now you're looking for spiritual fulfillment in everything that you do, right? I say this so often, but being attractive has nothing to do with the way you look. It has to do with the energy that you invite into your life. We tend to say, oh, that person is so attractive. Yes, but a person who attracts money into their lives is attractive as well. A person who attracts love is also attractive, regardless of how they look on the outside, right? They are attractive people. They attract nice experiences into their lives. And it's because they know who they are, they chase it, they don't doubt it, and they trust themselves. So again, if you have that little idea, little plan, little project in your head, then Saturn is going to bring that out of you again and say, are you ready to do this? And if not, what do we need to do to get there? What is standing in your way? What relationships are being too expensive for you? What friendships are not affordable to you at the moment? Where is your energy going and where should it be going instead, right? So it can come sometimes as a slap in the face. And we need to go through these experiences to have more clarity. For me personally, I am a truth seeker. So I would rather have the honesty right straight in my face. I appreciate that, than to have, a lot of innuendos and things that don't take me anywhere and make me feel stuck. I want the truth about myself and others and all the situations, regardless of how much that hurts. I can deal with it. What I cannot deal is with a half truth that keeps me stuck in the same cycle, right? So be brave enough to ask for that clarity. Face the things that are coming to you now and take this energy, because it's gonna help you. But it's not gonna it's probably not gonna be a change that you see right away, but you are planting seeds for the things that you will experience in the future. Now imagine that at this point where you are right now, if you take a moment here and you look back at yourself 1 year ago, you're going to understand that a lot of the things that you are experiencing now are the blooming, pun intended, absolutely. They are the blooming of the seeds that you planted last year or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So you are experiencing them now. And as you plant new seeds now, because you're changing your way of thinking, feeling, acting, behaving, responding, communicating, loving, forgiving, because you are planting those seeds today, you need to expect that those seeds are going to come in the future. But here's the thing, just because it didn't happen yet, it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. And just because it has happened in the past doesn't mean that it's going to happen again in the future. That's where we trip ourselves, right? Because we think, oh, this already happened, it's going to happen again. Or we think, didn't happen yet, it's because it's not going to happen. So be patient, plant your seeds, plant them with faith and hope, knowing that they will work. It's either going to be a lesson or it's going to be a blessing. It doesn't matter, you need to go through it as well. And temper your pride, temper your ego, places where you need to shift your perception, assumption, communication, interaction with others, response and reaction, because those are seeds that you're planting as well. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I will be back very soon with more good stuff for you. I want to say thank you for all the emails you sent me. I know that sometimes people don't like commenting on the videos because they don't want to share the things that they want to say publicly. So I appreciate when you share your journey with me privately, and I respect that a lot. So I am wishing you an amazing day. I'm wishing you an amazing weekend, actually. It's Friday. So I'm sending you so much love and so many blessings, and I am really praying that you stay safe and protected within the power of your own heart. Big love to all of you.